cat in the wall, eh? Okay, now you're talking my language.
Do you ever drunk Baileys from a shoe?
Oh, great. Thanks, Mother, for replacing the baby aspirin with LSD.
All right, welcome in to the View from C-Deck. Boys and girls, the Buckeyes are playing for a national championship now after beating the Texas Longhorns in Texas. We messed with Texas. And the Haas and the Direwolf and all Buckeye Nation, like myself, lost our damn minds as Jack Sawyer is running down with what I'm going to go with his Pickerington 6. Or a lot of people are saying Jack Saw and score or Scoop and Sawyer. I don't know. What are you guys thinking, though, as Sawyer rumbles down the field and ices the game for the Buckeyes to make it 28-14?
Me personally, it was just so much relief all in one moment, because that entire game, it was like, we stop them and then we score, and it's like, whoa, we might blow these cats out just like everybody else, and then not at all. And it was never comfortable the whole time. And then even then, I mean, we're going to have time to score if they score, but still, it's just like, you don't know what the hell they're going to do. But in that moment, on the 1 yard line, like, hindsight, of course, Sarkisian's a great play caller, but how do you not just run it up the gut 4 times? I don't care how good we are on the goal line stand. That was just amazing.
Put Arch in, too? Like, it worked before.
Yeah, just unbelievable.
What are you thinking, Haas?
Yeah, one of my New Year's resolutions has to be to stop being so eternally pessimistic, because when they were on that half-yard line, I literally was like, they're going to score a touchdown here, then what's going to happen? I was talking to my roommate about it. I'm like, let me just give them the touchdown. I thought it was a foregone conclusion they were going to get in. We stopped them. I'm like, okay, what are they going to do? And then after that botched pitch play, I was like, okay, this is a legitimate chance. And I was not expecting that, but yeah, I need to hop off the hate train at times, because that goal line defense, this defense is legendary in all regards. In every facet of the game, this defense is going to go down as one of the best units ever. And if they finish it against Notre Dame, that's one of the best plays of all time right there.
Right. 4 different games now, and all of them big games. Well, really 5 different games if you include Nebraska. Not a big game, but 5 huge goal line stands in those games that, I mean, it's like the 4 of them in the fourth quarter, like to ice the game or give us a chance to win against Michigan. Like, it's just unbelievable that they do, like, time and time again. They forced 9 times inside the 10-yard line, first and goal. 9 times teams haven't scored a point against us. 9 times. Like, that is insane. That is insane. You think people would stop trying. But just, yeah, I'm with Casey. Relief, joy, everything rolled into one, because you're sweating it. Although the better in me, I put my happiness hedge in. I had Texas plus 4.5 at like plus 105 or something. I did to get the plus money. And I was like, well, if they score here and we go kick the field goal, I get the best of both worlds. But it was not to be. But we'll start off with, I guess, I kind of want to go in order of this game, and we'll start with the offense, because they come out after defense gets a stop right away. A fourth down stop, also another fourth down stop, but farther out in no man's land there, where Texas kind of had to go for it. But the offense marches down the field, and Quinshon makes a really nice run, shows great vision to snake through, get a 9-yard touchdown run, and you think, here we go. And then we force a 3 and out with like a sack. And you're like, here we go again, about to bust their ass. And then the penalties start. 3 straight possessions, and it starts with Travion Henderson getting a ridiculously dumb, unsportsmanlike conduct. The 3 straight possessions, we get a huge penalty on second down to make it 2nd and 20 plus. All 3 drives stall. We lose all momentum. And what were you guys thinking when that starts to happen? Is it like, okay, we're fine, we're just killing ourselves, or you're like, shit, we're letting them stick around. We're still up 7-0, but we're letting them stick around.
I mean, you know how I am. We could be up 21, and I think it's not over. Like, they could come back. We could be down 21, and it's not over. We could come back. But we've been really good this year of not getting penalties. I think we're probably one of the best teams in the country, least penalized. That's because of the Big Ten, probably. But when that started happening, it seems like it reminded me of the Michigan game a little bit of the last couple of years. It's just like it's a snowball kind of. They get in their head and then mental mistakes. And then Texas is a great defense. We can't be 2nd and 20 against them and expect to get first downs. But in the end, my confidence going into the game was our defense. So I just thought, we can't be going 3 and out. There was one possession, I can't remember exactly when it was, but we started on like our 5 and we got it to like the 40 or something. We flipped the field, and that we needed to do that. We had to get out of that part of the end zone, but I was never super comfortable. But hindsight, we were never behind the whole game. So it was the defense I trusted in the most.
Yeah, that's right. Here's my next part is like, then Texas does come down and tie it with 29 seconds left in the first half. And you're like, well, we get the ball for a second half, but all the momentum's in their quarter, and suddenly you're feeling a little tight. Maybe we get tight. And then the first of the 2 gigantic plays happen. Freaking Travion Henderson takes a screen pass 75 yards to the house. Haas, what are you thinking then as he's galloping past everybody like a freaking
Then I'm looking just like I was like, all right, this is a game of momentum. We have to come out after halftime, and if we can capitalize getting some points there, the avalanche might happen in the second half, rather than the first half. I was like, man, we could just crush them. We had to do it. That's what I was looking at, just starting the second half. Didn't happen. So that's where the second half then swung their way again, and that's when we're all like, oh crap. That was just a huge momentum swing game. Momentum is real. Anybody that doesn't believe that is a phony. But yeah, that was the ultimate momentum swing game, and that was huge before halftime.
It was right around the time where I'm putting my kids to bed, or my wife was, and my youngest is like not having it. She wanted me to go, and they're texting me, and I'm like, God, all right, I'm pausing this. It's when they were about to score. They were on like the 10-yard line, and then I get up there, and I'm like, what am I doing? I could just watch my phone. And I just like sat in her room while she's going to bed. And by the time I look, they already scored. I'm like, son of a bitch. Replay it and see how they score. And then I fast forward to see that. And I just start openly cracking up, just like, like maniacally laughing. It was a great feeling.
$1 million man style. Yeah, huge play by Travion. So the first half, Will threw for 200 yards. And we get, because of that play, we held them to 7 points. We're going to third quarter, which we've dominated all year. Texas has been a terrible third quarter team, actually, like all season long, and especially in the playoffs. So we're like, oh, here we go. Now we're thinking, here it goes again. And then we lose the third quarter. Can't move the ball in offense, not even because of penalties this time, just aren't moving it. And they have a long drive and score a touchdown. And we're going into the fourth quarter tied, and we're like, oh, and the only time they had the ball with the chance to take the lead, other than the opening possession, was in the fourth quarter after we go out pretty quickly again. And then I'm thinking, oh man, this is coming down to the wire. We get the ball back, have the long drive, 13 play drive to score a touchdown. Travion finishes off with from the goal line, from the 1 yard line. You're like, okay, gonna be hard to lose in regulation now unless Texas gets a little bit ballsy. But 6 minutes left, you think just hold them down, and they march right down the field and get a couple big penalties on us. What's bit us in the ass all year? PIs on defense. Then it's 1st and goal, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, but what are you thinking then? Like, here we go again. Like, I guess we're going to see if Day can win a game that's decided at the last minute.
Yeah. The play calling all game. The penalties had a huge part in some of the play calling. He wanted to do some check down there. You saw Will Howard was throwing it into some tight windows. He had some balls in that game. Bit him in the ass on the one to Jeremiah. But a lot of those wide receiver screens and checkdowns were because we were already in 2nd and long and stuff. So he was just trying to flip the field position a little bit. But it wasn't getting any better in the second half. And so if they would have tied the game up, that's when I'm sweating. I'm like, man, they've locked down Jeremiah. We have 5 minutes here. So I was like, we're going to have to put down a drive here. And anything could have happened in there in that last 5 minutes. That's where you just don't know. That's why I was really starting to sweat it there.
I was sweating it too. And the thing that I was really nervous about was it's going to come down to a freaking field goal. He's been good. Like, did he kick a field goal? No, he didn't in the last game, but he did in Oregon. But that's what I'm thinking, Day, like in the Georgia game, he could have just kept driving and gotten closer. Is he going to settle for a long field goal here? And I'm going to be covering my eyes when we kick this. And then in the back of my head is like, would he really go for 2? Could he go for 2 in this situation?
I think
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot going through my head, but I did not expect them to not score when they're on the freaking 1 yard line on first down. That's still boggles my mind.
Yeah, Sark pulls the day then. Like, we stuff them, but to be fair, we stuff them up the middle. We've stuffed everybody up the middle all year. Ask Penn State how it is. You can try 4 times from the 1 yard line, or 3 times at least from the yard line and try to run up the middle, and it doesn't guarantee you shit against our defense. But he does the short side sweep out of the shotgun, which Caleb Downs doesn't make the tackle, but he made the play, just blows it up. So then they're back there, and then third down, Sawyer gets held again and doesn't get called again because, of course, still haven't had a holding call since September against us. Sawyer still hasn't drawn a holding call since his freshman year. But he says, fuck it. I'm taking the refs out of this one. 4th down, blows right by the tackle. Strip sack. We finally get a good bounce. All these fumbles and tips have resulted in nothing for the last 2 weeks. It just bounces right up into his stomach, and he's off to the races. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I was texting my buddies throughout the game, like, we are so due for a turnover. And then, like, a couple drives would go by, and I'd just text again, please, turnover, do. And then finally came in the biggest freaking moment of the season. It was amazing. But, there was 2 fumbles that we could have easily gotten, and they just bounced right.
It should have been 3. That was a fumble, Arch Manning. He fumbled that ball.
That's what I thought too. It was like slightly moving before it completely.
It is moving, and they call that control. I'm like, no, the ball doesn't move like that when you have control of it.
Yeah.
I was irate when they were on the 1 yard line and throw it in the back of the end zone, and there was the pass interference on Styles. Ransom's in coverage, and then Styles turns his back to the play. If you just would have sat down and looked, easy interception. Easy right in his face. Styles had the worst game, arguably, of the season from him. But
he was way worse against Oregon. But he had good moments in this game. He had good moments, but that was a terrible moment. Yeah, he doesn't turn his head, the game's over. We pick it right there.
Yeah. So that's why I was just like irate. I'm like, oh my God, here we fucking go again. What the hell are we doing? And then goes to go.
Yeah, it was just amazing play, and then Downs seals it with the pick at the end when Ewers kind of has to force something. Just great play all around by the defense. The relief happens. So now let's break down some of the stats of this game. And just as you would think, it's pretty even. The numbers are very even, like across the board, like almost every single stat except for sacks, which we got a bunch in the first half, and then the turnovers 2 turnovers at the end, obviously, and they're huge turnovers. And that's pretty much what's the difference in the game is, really. Like 389 offense for us, like 340 something for them. No, it was like 370.
Penalties were really heavy against us, though, right?
Penalties were 9 for 75. They had 554. Obviously, we got 2 1 yard penalties at the end. That could have been worse, but something we'll have to clean up though. Like that's the biggest thing you'll see looking at the stats. Got 289 passing to 283. 81 rushing to 58. Our defense totally shutting down everybody's running game right now. And both teams only 30% on third down. That's something they'll have to look at too, because Notre Dame was awesome on third down against Penn State. But an evenly played game, evenly talented game, and Day finally wins one. That's the biggest thing that came out of this to me. And we got banged up a little bit on defense though. So what do you think there with when you saw especially JT go down and was not nearly as productive after the ankle injury?
Yeah, that was hard to see for sure. I mean, it's crazy to say this, but there are players that we would miss more than him. But it's still without him, I mean, I think we could still get by Notre Dame probably if he wasn't playing at all. But at least he's not. I mean, he's got 10 days to at least, nurse it a little bit. That'll help. But I was a little nervous because I couldn't think of who was going to come in for him. I thought it was going to be Curry, but it was Kenyatta, right?
Yeah, Kenyatta has been playing his spot all season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Injuries.
Yeah.
I mean, now we got Notre Dame. They'll be without their left tackle. Their right guard's probably out. So if we are without JTT, it's probably not the end of the world. But that, yeah, I mean, it's bound to happen. We've had great injury luck all year long. It's bound to happen at some point in the season for anybody.
I don't know about
McLaughlin.
and Simmons. We lost two of our best offensive linemen.
We've been fine with that. Other than this game, 51 was pretty atrocious in this game.
Yeah. I mean, he did his first first start ever. Comes in the CFP semifinal against maybe the best D line besides ours. Tough spot, but that we're not a good O line. Like, we're still not. Like, this has been smoke and mirrors, and I'm going to give Chip Kelly a ton of credit here. I was going to give Fry some credit just because we've crapped on so hard, and they haven't cost us the game, but they're still not good. We can't run the ball right now, and our passing, if it's a straight drop back, we're getting pressured a lot of times. But he's been able to scheme it up to where teams can't just pin their ears back, or it's hard to recognize whether it's a pass or run, and we're able to get Will some time that way. And Will's made some plays with his feet in this game too. Chip gets all the credit in the world, I think. Jim Knowles, though, is it time to build a statue already? Is he already our best defensive coordinator ever? Because this is every game he's finding new ways to impress me.
Yeah, he's a beast. But real quick, I've been shitting on Fry all year. I think he deserves some credit because, I mean, the Alabamas and the Georgias of the world could probably do what we're doing, but most teams, they lose their two best offensive linemen, they are fucked. I mean, so he at least got these guys game ready, they're good enough to get by.
The other team playing in the finals has lost two of their two best offensive linemen all year, but go ahead.
Are they their two best?
I don't know if they're their two best, but they've lost. They're down to their third string left tackle now.
Yeah, but the schedule we've had has been crazy though, historically difficult. How many top 5, top 10 teams we've played? I mean, we've basically knocked out half the damn playoff field this season. If we beat Notre Dame, it'll be 6 out of the other 11 teams that we beat.
That's 8, right?
And we will have beaten the entire top 5 that is not Ohio State in the final AP poll, because it's almost for sure Oregon will be top 5 in the AP poll, and then the four other teams we beat everybody else that's in the semifinals. We've beaten, and assuming we beat Notre Dame, this will be our 10th against a top 20 defense this year, which is vanity. This will be Notre Dame's 3rd. We'll talk about this more than the Notre Dame thing, but real quick, Notre Dame, it'll be their 3rd. 2 of them have been in the playoffs, Penn State and Indiana. Can you get who their other one was?
Navy? Army?
USC?
Oh, sorry, it's their 4th one. Yeah, I forgot about Army. But no, they have a 4th one.
USC?
Who'd they lose to?
Is it Northern Illinois? Wow.
They're the number 4 defense in the country by yardage.
Wow.
And Army's 6, but Army's is very explainable because they play that really slow pace and you just don't have the ball ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
wow.
We played more than twice as many top 20 defenses. We're so battle tested. This is our game to lose. But wrap up this Texas thing. We cover easily, under hits, almost the exact score I called. I said 31-17. We get really close, although I should have just bet what I called, and I'm a rich man right now instead of hedging my happiness. But, I mean, obviously the game didn't really – I always say this. You can be right and be wrong at the same time. I was wrong about how this game – I was right that it was a tight first half. I was wrong about how the game would go overall, though. Texas is right there. This game gets played – we're probably 60-40 against them, maybe 70-30. They're talented all across the board, and we just made the biggest plays at the biggest times at the end of the first half and the second half.
Yep. I think it could have been. I mean, who knows without these penalties or if the ball bounces a different way on those fumbles, but that's just football. But the majority of the game, it was 50-50 almost every play, it seemed like.
Oh, it was absolute slugfest. But now we get to play for a national championship, and I know you boys are excited. Everybody in Columbus is excited. I think the ticket prices are $1,700 to get in the door right now, and it's $1,000 to fly down there right now. So get out your pocketbooks if you're going. But for the Haas and for the Dire Wolf, I'm just Matt. We'll be previewing the Notre Dame game, the national championship, in depth next podcast, which we're about to record right now. So check that out too. But after just one of the best nights in Buckeye history, Jack Sawyer is a legend now for sure. Build the statue, plant him a tree, even though he wasn't All-American.
Twilight.
Yeah. Go Bucks, baby. And we will see you guys next time.
Captain.
Hey, guys. Whoa, big gulps, huh? All right. Well, see you later.